Okay, I think we're up in both spots. This is Yankey Rants. We're going to start in just a minute. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time to get in and settle in and share. This is an experiment, but it's going to be a full show. It's going to be a full 30, 45-minute show. But it's an experiment to see if a stream from my actual timeline does better on Facebook. Some of you know that have been watching that I'm being suppressed over on Facebook. And I'm trying an experiment to see. I've been told that pages get suppressed more than I don't know why it says please stand by on YouTube. Looks like we're good on Facebook. Looks like we got 2 people here on Facebook, but YouTube says please stand by. I don't know why. But I'm going to press forward. Hopefully YouTube's doing okay. If you're here on Facebook, we're going to start in just a second. Come on in. I got a few things planned to talk about. And we're going to get into it. So, come on in and we'll start in just a minute. It still says please stand by on YouTube, but I'm going to press forward. We're having a little trouble learning to multi-stream. I am just now figuring it out. This will be my second attempt at multi-streaming, and I'm still working the kinks out. That was a lot of what this was about, is trying to work the kinks out, because I have to pay for that service. To multi-stream, that costs money. So I'm paying for that, and I got to figure out how to work it. Right now I'm streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, but I'm going to add some more platforms. The service that I'm paying for, I can do 5 sites at a time. So let me know. I don't use a lot more social media than Facebook and YouTube. So let me know what else is good. Where else to stream to? Like maybe Periscope, Twitter. My son was saying Instagram. I don't know. So let me know what you think. Some other good sites that I should maybe focus on or give some attention to. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Let me try reloading the page on YouTube. Hopefully this doesn't do anything. I'm pushing my computer to its limits by doing this, but let me reload YouTube and see if I can get YouTube up and running too, because I want it to go out in both places. And I want to make sure that we're streaming before we really get started. But there's a few things I got going to talk about today. This is a rant show. What this is I'll just rant about certain topics and then, comment, participate in the show. But I'm going to get carried away here for just a little bit and rant about some things. What I have written down to talk about is car trouble. I had a breakdown and I had some car trouble, so that's on my mind. I got some car trouble to talk about. Pill costs, drug prescription costs, here versus the rest of the world. And corporate censorship, which is very much on my mind lately. Okay, it looks like YouTube's good. Very much on my mind lately is corporate censorship. I'm being very much censored on Facebook. And I wouldn't say on YouTube, because we're just a baby channel. We're up to 870 subscribers, 880 when I last looked at it this morning. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. Now that I know we're up on YouTube, I'll start talking to you guys too, and I'll come back and check on the comments. I have to go from feed to look at the comments, because my computer can barely handle having 3 windows open at a time. And to do this, to multi-stream, I gotta have 3 windows open. And to show me the comments from both streams, I would need a 4th window open. But David says, eat the white babies first. According to a Pew Research study, the carbon footprint of white babies is nearly double that of non-white babies. All right, I don't know how much I want to condone eating babies, though. But that's interesting. So the carbon footprint of white babies is nearly double that of non-white. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's interesting. That's very fascinating. But comment anything you want. Participate in the show. I'm going to start with car trouble. And the thing I'm going to focus on in the car trouble debate, or the car trouble rant, is people thinking that because you're a man, because you're male, that you should know how to fix a car. My penis did not come with instructions on how to fix a vehicle. I don't know how to fix a vehicle. Matter of fact, in my household, my wife is the mechanic. She does all the stuff with the cars, and she is very savvy in that area. And just the sexism of it, for one, bothers me. People thinking, oh, you're a guy and you don't know how to fix your car, or you're broke down and you're stranded and you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to get out of that situation. Shouldn't you be able to fix that? You're a guy. That's ridiculous. You're not born with instructions how to do things, you know? And the same goes for women's stereotypes. People will be like, well, can she cook? Can you? Come on, man. You're an adult. You're grown. Like, take care of yourself. Like, how is that, a deal breaker, whether or not somebody can cook? Feed yourself, you know? But I can do basic things with a car. I'm not completely ignorant to cars. I mean, you shouldn't be driving if you can't, like, change a tire or change your oil or check fluid levels. And I can do all that stuff. But today we had, like, a radiator hose break, and I don't know how to fix that. That's beyond my scope of capabilities, but she can. And people will frown on me. People will actually look down on me because my wife fixes the car. Well, her father taught her how to do that. She grew up learning how to work on machinery. She grew up on a farm, working on tractors, etc. She knows how to do it. I'm lucky to have somebody that knows how to do that, that can come when I'm broken down on the side of the road and fix it up, and get it going again. Because I don't know about you, but I can't afford to go to a mechanic. I can't afford to take my car to a shop. I don't make very much money. I can't afford to miss work from being broke down or having transportation problems. And a lot of people that have jobs, I'm going to get sidetracked here, but that's something that we do all the time. A lot of people that have jobs, and good jobs even, don't realize how fragile that is. For instance, at my household, we only have 2 vehicles, right? And, I work pretty far away from home. She works nearby home, so she can walk to work if need be. I need transportation to get to work. And if that transportation isn't available, there aren't very many options for me. Within walking distance of my house, there's like 3 or 4 employers. It's very slim pickings. I live in the middle of Missouri, in rural Missouri. I'm surrounded by cornfields. There's a little corner store in walking distance to my house, and a little grocery store in walking distance to my house, and a pet food place, and a place that does windows. So there's 4 employers in my town that I know of. There's a little bank too. I could probably work at the bank, but so I have to drive 30 minutes to the nearest town where there's big employers, where there's jobs. So with my car broke down, that cripples me, cuts me off at the knees. And what I was saying about people with these jobs, you don't realize how close you are to not having that job, how fragile that is. Like, luckily, my wife knows how to fix cars. She'll get me going again. But if I had to pay $500 to get that repaired, I'd be SOL. My check isn't $500. You know what I mean? I couldn't afford that. If we couldn't have found somebody good enough to pull the car home so that she could work on it, and we had to pay to tow it, hundreds of dollars. I don't have hundreds of dollars. The average American can't afford a $500 emergency. That's a fact. So we're all very close to the edge. We're all living dangerously close to the edge, and it's kind of scary when you think about it. But circling all the way back around, she fixed the car. Well, we live in a little town, right? A little country town. And I don't live on a street, but there's a little side street that cuts right through our house area. So she's working on the car. She's fixing the car, and I'm standing there handing her stuff, like a surgical assistant. Wrench, here you go. Socket, here you go. But she's doing it, and I'm standing there. And people are looking at me like I am just the most worthless POS on the planet. And I'm like, come on, dude. She's probably better at fixing this car than you are. Quit hating. Haters are masturbators. Don't be a hater. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. That was inappropriate, but it's true. There's haters everywhere. And, I'm a good cook. For instance, you want to talk about breaking stereotypes. I'm actually a good cook. I can make pretty beast meatballs. My meatballs are pretty fantastic. So I can hold my own in the kitchen, and she is a good mechanic. And I see nothing wrong with that. And anybody that does, I think you're just being ignorant. You know, if you think that that makes me less of a man because I'm the one handing her tools while she works on the car, that's ridiculous. That don't make her less of a woman, does it? I think it makes her more of a woman. That's sexy. You know what I'm saying? It is. She's my hero. Matter of fact, if we ever become in an apocalyptic type of situation, I am going to depend on her greatly because of her background. She knows how to hunt and kill food. I don't know how to do that. I'd starve and die. So, in an apocalyptic situation, I'd be even less of a man, apparently. But I would be fun to have around. You see what I'm saying? I got a personality. I could tell stories around the campfire. It would be reasons to keep me alive. I would provide value in other ways. But part of my experiment with this show is I am not going to share it. I am trying to see what will happen if I don't share at all. Because when I do share to Facebook, they've been putting me in instant Facebook jail. So when I share my shows out to Facebook, I get instantly locked down. And I'm freezing on my end. Am I freezing on you guys' end? Somebody let me know if I'm buffering. Oh, look, all your comments just showed up. Sorry, 50 comments just hit my screen. Bert says you need this home address. Oh, hold on. He's replying to Ginger. Hi, Steve. Hey, Ginger. Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody. I just got all your comments. I'm really pushing my computer to its limits. The new computer's being built. We did a recent fundraiser, and anybody that donated that fundraiser, thank you very much, and I want you to know the computer's being built right now. So within a week, I'm going to have a beast of a computer, and we're going to be able to do a lot of cooler things. So we're going to work on things like backgrounds and looks, and everything's going to get a lot cooler coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. And the next thing I wrote down, I think I exhausted car repairs and sexism, but I wrote down the cost of prescription drugs. I want to get into that just for a little bit. The cost of prescription drugs in this country is outrageous. And the reason why that's on my mind is I got to refill my pills. I personally take 3 different prescription drugs. And, you know, I depend on them. So I fill that every month. There's people that are up to 10, 11. You know what I mean? That they have to have. And so these drugs, they fluctuate in price. That's one thing. That's another thing. Every time I go to the pharmacy, I've taken the same 3 pills for years. For a couple years now. And every time I go to the pharmacy, it is a surprise when I get to the checkout. When I get to the register, it's always a surprise. Sometimes it's pleasant. Sometimes it sucks really bad. But it's always a surprise. They fluctuate. The prices go up. The prices go down. And, you know, I had some articles pulled up I was going to show you guys. But like I said, my computer has limited capabilities, so I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm scared I'll crash the feed. But I had some statistics pulled up to show you. There are pills that we pay 16 times more for in America than they do in other countries, like Canada, for example. And that is ridiculous. You know, I had an article pulled up from Reuters, which is a mainstream media site. And even they were discussing in this article how we pay 3 times more than the rest of the world on average for prescription drugs. That's ridiculous. You know, Bernie just took a trip up to Canada with a bunch of people that were to buy insulin, with a bunch of diabetics. And they purchased insulin 10 times cheaper than you can here in the United States. 10 times cheaper. It's outrageous how much we're being fleeced. Now, this isn't our politics show. We do that in the morning. This is a regular rant show. So I'm not going to get political on you. I'm not going to preach. But this overcharging Americans for pharmaceutical drugs, that's killing people. That's murder. The pharmaceutical industry is committing murder. They're pricing drugs that people need out of their range. Bert says he can't fix it. Too effeminate? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I'm a lady girl. I'm a lady man. But I'm telling you, I can knock it out in the sheets. I can knock it out of the park, but I guess I'm feminine. I watched a Bernie Sanders ad today, a fan-made Bernie Sanders ad, and it made me cry like a little girl. I cry. I do all that stuff. So maybe I am a girly man. I'm really, really comfortable in my masculinity, though, so really nothing you could say to me would bother me as far as that goes. Ginger says, hold on, I missed it. It was on the screen and went away. $1,000 for 6 months of insulin. What cost $1,000 here in Michigan? That's exactly right. That was. Oh, Bert says not me. Oh, that's cool. I mean, you can give me trouble. I'm okay with it. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. A lot of people frown down on me because I can't fix a car. But oh well, I can do other things. You know what I mean? I'm interesting in other ways. I have other skills and talents. But like Ginger was saying, insulin, something that people need to live. They can't live without it. They need it to survive. A 6-month supply of insulin is $1,000 in Canada, directly across the border from Michigan, whereas $1,000 only gets you about a 1-month supply. There are people that are halving their insulin in this country and dying because they can't afford their insulin. They can't afford to pay for it because it's priced out of their range. Now, no matter how you feel politically, we got to do something about these drug prices. The greed of the pharmaceutical industry. My particular path would be Medicare for all, but I'm open to hearing anything that we can do here, because you have elderly people cutting their pills in half because they got to choose between eating and taking their medicine. These problems, they're very real. The situation is very, very real. This can't continue. No matter how you feel politically, I would hope you agree that the greed of the pharmaceutical industry is out of hand. It is way out of control and needs to be reined in. But Bert says read this one. Hold on, I'm going to go up and see what he says. Ugh. My computer, I swear, guys, I'm sorry. It's so hard for me to keep up with this. But Ginger, we know you post on all the other groups because you and the Murphy bitch took them all over. Oh. Hold on, something's going on here. The Murphy bitch. Suzanne Murphy? Hold on. Then you kicked all of the informed non-Dem-Enter people out. All right, there's an argument going on in the thread here. I don't really know what that's about. But I do know the name Suzanne Murphy. I was in her group once. Truth Bomb Activists. I don't know if that group still exists. This was years ago. But I got kicked out. I got into a discussion in the comment thread. We had like not the comment thread, but a mass messaging, for the group. And there was an argument going on, and I told someone about themselves, and they kicked me out. So I was only in Truth Bomb Activist for a couple of days. But I don't know much about Suzanne Murphy. I know she started the site Just Inform, didn't she? Isn't that true? Just Inform. Does anybody know about Just Inform? Like I said, I'm looking for more platforms to stream to. Is Just Inform a good one? I noticed that Tim Black promotes Just Inform and that he streams to Just Inform. I've been studying him. And he streams to, I believe, Just Inform, Roku, Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook and YouTube. And I'm not sure. I want to look at other places. So I'm going to spread out my reach and try to build an audience on other platforms. Twitter might be hard for me because I only have 170 followers on Twitter. I'm starting out. Lori says, Ginger, we love you. All right. Ginger says, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't kick anyone out of any group. Whatever happened to that page, Black quit it. Okay, apparently this is a discussion about Tim Black quitting a page. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to keep up, but I'm also checking YouTube at the same time and trying to keep talking and not have dead air. So I got a lot of balls in the air right now. Hi, Dolores. I got a YouTube comment. And again, the comments are hitting me slow. But Dolores says he hasn't promoted Just Inform for a while. Really? I haven't caught the beginnings of his show. For a little while at the beginning of Tim Black, he would promote Just Inform. Months ago. It's been a while since I caught the beginning of a Tim Black. But I catch him here and there. I tend to try to not go on when Tim's on. I tend to go around Tim. A lot of people that wonder sometimes about when I pick forums or times to do things, I tend to dodge Tim, and there's a couple other successful live streamers that I duck around and try not to. Ginger says, Ginger does not run, just inform. This dude is nuts. Oh. Nico House was a contributor to Just Inform. I know that too, because I have a Just Inform account. I don't know what you guys think of it, because I've never used it. I have a friend on Facebook who is somehow involved in that, and she promotes Just Inform pretty much every day. And I joined it because of her, Helen Ford, and I saw Nico on there, I saw Tim on there, and they were actual contributors. They were doing feeds and stuff for Just Inform. But I don't know much about it. I really don't. Hi, Steve. And I'm glad to see Lori's here. Lori used to come to the feeds all the time, so I'm glad to see she's back. Real quick, we're going to get into the next thing I have written down, and then I'm going to depend on you guys. I'm going to feed off the comments for the rest of the show. But corporate censorship. Censorship has been corporatized. You know, book burning and all that is very real to this day. I covered the other day on a different show, and I would bring it up if I thought I could do it, but did you know that there is an annual convention over what books to eliminate from libraries and the public forum? I forget the name of it, but it happens every year. And from 2018, they are trying to ban over 400 books from 2018 for ranges of reasons, different reasons, all kinds of different reasons, but they're trying to ban these books. 400 something. They ban them every year. They banned 300 something books the year before. Pulled them out of the public eye. Pulled them out of stores. You know, it's amazing. And that still goes on to this day. So book burning is still a very real thing. It's just corporatized. They do it behind the scenes. Publishers pull books, and publishing companies pull books, and magazines and the media control what rises to the top and control what people see. And sites like Google and YouTube suppress, ban, throttle, or outright ban things that they don't agree with. You know, Google, for instance, has a campaign right now against conspiratorial content. Anything conspiratorial, anything they consider conspiratorial, they are shutting down. Now, they don't take down your video. They don't pull your content, not yet, but they stop letting it filter through the algorithm. They stop letting it get out to people, is what they do. So they'll stop pushing it. They'll make it where it doesn't hit people's feeds and they don't get notified, etc. So, and I call my show Conspiracy Theories and Chills, so I'm sure I'll get throttled on YouTube. David said, Sean Yankey asked the president of Finland a question. He's here. Ask him a question. The president of Finland is not here. That would be cool, though. Lori says, arg. Is it pirate time, Lori? There is a fight going on. I don't understand the fight, but it seems to be about Just Inform. And I don't know much about Just Inform. I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying anything about it either way, because I know nothing. Like I said, I have one, but I never use it. I probably posted 3 things to it, and I've been a member over there for 5 months. Like, I didn't even know Tim Black doesn't even promote it anymore. I didn't know that. And I try to study Tim Black, so that's how out of it I am with Just Inform. But I'm looking for other platforms. So if you are more active social media-wise than me, and you know of other platforms that are good to stream to, let me know. Because I've heard Twitch is good, but Twitch is mostly gamers. Twitch is mostly gaming. But I don't think that's all they do. And DTube. DTube is another one that I'm thinking about streaming to. But it costs extra. From the platform that I'm using, the multi-stream platform that I'm using, DTube is extra. It's not included in the services, or maybe it is. I shouldn't say that, because that's false advertising. I don't know that. I'm still learning the streaming software that I'm using. And it's Caster, which is really cool so far. And it's the best priced one out of all of them. There was one that was $60 a month. Caster's $9.99. So it's much more reasonable. The other one, the other major service, was $99. They only had a premium professional option. So, but Castor's pretty good, and that's CASTR if you are interested. You know, a little free publicity for Castor. But Lori says book banning, censorship gone wild. Yeah, 400 something books they're trying to ban from last year alone. 437, I believe, is the accurate number. Ginger says Suzanne Murphy runs Truth Bomb activists only, so she doesn't kick people out of many groups. All right, maybe people are saying Suzanne kicks people out of groups. And I'm going to tell you something real quick. As a live streamer, I've heard that Suzanne could be trouble for me. I don't know her. I can't back this up personally. But I've had people tell me to be careful and not mess with Suzanne Murphy. And that's just me. So I know the name from being in Truth Bomb Activist, from being told not to mess with her, and from her making Just Informed. But I don't know anything about her personally, and please don't think I'm attacking her by saying that people told me to watch out. But people told me that she could make things pretty uncomfortable for me. Apparently she has a pretty far reach online and a pretty good following on social media. But like I said, I don't know her, and I can't speak about her. But Ginger says the fight is Bert making up propaganda about me. He should show his or her information before he runs his mouth. Oh. Okay, yeah, don't be doing that. Is Bert still here? I'm not sure if Bert's still here, but if the president of Finland is still here, I would like to know if there's anything that you have on Joe Biden that you might be able to get in touch with Donald Trump and let him know about, because they're actively trying to investigate Joe Biden. So if there's anything you know about any treason while Biden was vice president, please let us know, the president of Finland. And I would like to hear about anything to do with socialism. People tell fear-mongering stories about Finland. And I'd love to hear from the president of Finland, if he's still here. President of Finland. That would be awesome, though, right? Little baby show with, about 10 or 15 followers, gets the president of Finland in his feed. I'm telling you, I'm coming to the top. I'm rising to the top. Hey, Bert. Ginger works for her. Do you have proof? Do you have proof that Ginger works for Suzanne Murphy? Do you have proof that Suzanne Murphy has an agenda? I'm interested in hearing if you do or not, but I don't know anything about this. I don't know. Hey, Jay. What's up, Jay? Burn one. I'm going to take that as a cue that I can light this cigarette. I've been waiting 30 minutes to light this cigarette. I'm trying so hard not to smoke during streams. I'm trying to be professional. Some of you know that I've given myself a year to make this my job. And so I'm trying to be more professional. I'm trying not to smoke on air and stuff like that. But here we go, breaking the rule. Since we're ranting, let's rant a little bit about nicotine being legal. Nicotine should not be legal. I should not be able to buy cigarettes at the store. The same store where little kids buy ice cream, I buy these death sticks. And they are incredibly addictive. Matter of fact, as a proof to that, I've been trying my hardest not to light that cigarette that I've been holding since we first went live for 30 minutes. Did it work? How long was I able to refrain? And that's me trying to be professional. Trying to do a good job. Bert says she runs TBA. Suzanne does. Yeah, TBA. I got kicked out of TBA by Suzanne. Because I got in an argument on the chat thread. And I called out somebody who was probably her friend. I was barely in the group. I'd only been in the group 2 days. But I got upset. I was like, I told this person about themselves. And I got thrown out of the group over it. But let me know anything you guys want to talk about. I'm checking comments on YouTube and Facebook. YouTube, I haven't been getting comments from. I've seen 2 comments so far from YouTube, and that's it. So let me know. We're live right now. This is live right now in both places. So we can talk about anything you want. This is Yankey Rants. Maybe something's making you mad. Maybe you would like to get something off of your chest. Like Bert. Bert's mad Bert's talking about what he's mad about. What are you mad about? That's what we do in this. We rant. But Ginger says conspiracy theories and chill over Bert's propaganda. I'm working on next week's Conspiracy Theories and Chill right now. Conspiracy Theories and Chill is another show that I do on Wednesday nights. And part of this experiment that I'm doing right now is I'm trying to find out if running from my timeline is better than running from a page. People have told me, and this ties in with corporate censorship, people have told me that Facebook more easily shuts down content from pages than they do from your timeline. And that this Facebook jail situation that I found myself in, this sharing jail, might be because I use pages. Because I've noticed they will block the content on my page, but ask me to pay $20 to boost a post. They want money from me, but they don't want me to share. So is that because I'm coming from a page? Some people say it is. So we're running a test, and it's a double-layered test. I'm not going to share this, and I'm going to see how well it does on its own, and I'm going to see if it does better coming from my page than we do from my timeline than we do coming from my pages. Because I set up pages to do the show. Because when I first started doing these, people told me, don't stream from your timeline. Don't ever stream from your timeline. Stream from a page. Well, I joined a page because I wanted to get my reach out there. So I joined up with a page. And I was part of that page for a long time. And then I fell out with that page. So I started my own pages. But now I'm being told by people that are reliable that pages might not be the best place to stream from. Pages may have their pluses and minuses, but apparently they're not the best place to stream from. So I'm going to find out. I'm going to try streaming from my timeline and see how that works. So on Facebook, we're on my timeline now. But my pages are Yankey Show and Our Revolution War Room, and Conspiracy Theories and Chill is a show that we're currently doing from Yankey Show. And this coming up episode is going to be about MK Ultra. I ran a poll on my Twitter today to see what topic people wanted, and MK Ultra won out. So we're going to move forward with MK Ultra. I'm working on that video right now. So I'm writing the script for it, and some of you know how this works. What we'll do is I'll make a brand new video, a brand new mini documentary on MK Ultra, and we will hang out and watch that video, and then we will talk about whatever you want. We talk about conspiracies. Last week's episode got kicked on Facebook, but that's why we're going to multi-stream now. I'm going to stop relying so much on Facebook, and I'm going to stop giving Facebook so much power over what happens with me moving forward, and I'm going to start reaching out to other platforms. So, let's see. J. Roan says, feed died last time. Lucius Trust. We got kicked. I got community strikes. We'll keep moving forward, but we're gonna stream in multiple places from now on, and that's not free. So if you can support the shows, please do so with the links in the description, because I'm now professional. But another great way to support me is to share, grow my audience, get this out there, like, interact, all of that. That's free, and I love free. I'm poor, so I love free. That helps me. But yeah, we did Lucius Trust this past week. And that's interesting. Check that out on my YouTube channel, because the whole episode is up on YouTube and the video itself is up on YouTube. And my YouTube channel is called Me on Things and Stuff. I'll add a link for that after the show so you guys can follow me on YouTube, because we'll be streaming from multiple sites from now on. So when they pull me on Facebook, it won't pull the whole show. You know what I mean? What I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing out a multi-link, so that way you can go from platform to platform, because they will cut me off. They will suppress me, because corporate censorship is real. And that's the final thing that I'm ranting about today, but we can get into anything you guys want to. But don't cheer this corporate censorship. Steve says he knows Ginger and Suzanne, and I know Ginger. I can vouch for Ginger, and Steve's vouching for Suzanne. So we're covered. We're good. Ginger and Suzanne are apparently both on the up and up. And I got that from good sources. So, and I know Ginger. I know Ginger for real is solid. So Ginger's good. And apparently Steve says Suzanne's good. And I trust Steve. So we are good. So I don't know what Bert's mad about. Maybe he can tell us. I asked him for evidence earlier, but I don't know if he has it. Any. But Steve says, hold on. Steve had a comment. Apparently, FBI is keeping all the Epstein blackmail stuff for their own use. Where did you see that? Could you link that to me? Because I'm trying to work on an Epstein video too. I want to cover Epstein. Epstein has fell out of the media, and I don't like that. I don't want focus to pull from the Epstein story, so I want to cover Epstein. I'm going to do a conspiracy theories and chill coming up on Epstein and what all he was into, and expose that whole story and bring light to that again, because that needs to get back in the media. You know how it just went away? Just went away. But it can't. We can't let that one die. So I am going to be doing that. That's coming up in the future. So yeah, link me that if you can. Send me that in Messenger or something. So because I'm going to research and put together an Epstein video coming up in the future. But let's fight back against this corporate censorship in any way you can. And one of the ways you can do that is by supporting shows like this, supporting the truth. You know, and we talk about important things on every one of my shows. You know, moving forward, we're going to bring more and more content to you guys and more shows. This is just one of the... This is one I used to do a long time ago. This is one I haven't done for a while. Some of you know that I did live streaming seriously like maybe a year ago and tried to push seriously to get live streaming going, and this was one of the shows from then. So we've come a long way in a year, and I might bring this one back. Let me know if there's any interest in this one coming back. Do you guys want to hear me rant and go on and on about stuff for an hour? Is this an interesting show for you guys? Because that's what I want to know from the audience. I want to know what you want to see. And I will cover that kind of stuff. And I will make those videos that you want to watch. That's what we're going to do on Me and Things and Stuff and moving forward. So subscribe to the channel and follow our content, because that's what we'll be doing, is what you want to see. And I'm going to try to get other contributors in. I'm courting some more people that make videos to get them in the channel and get them making content. So it'll help to subscribe and grow the channel. Will help me be able to get people in. And we'll start making a lot better shows for you guys. And like I said, the new computer is going to open a lot of doors too. So I'm excited about things moving forward with the streams and with the shows. And thank you guys for watching. And this has been an experiment. This was Yankey Rants. And if I get some good comments here, we'll get into them. So let me know what you want to talk about. I went through all my little rants that I wanted to do today on the show. And Ginger says Whitney Webb is covering Epstein extensively. Now, is she on YouTube? Where can I find Whitney? And where can I find her coverage of Epstein? She said just put out another article this week. So she's a writer. Okay. Steve says, I'm just assuming so as his name has disappeared from the media. Hold on, let me back up and see what Steve was saying. Oh. I see what you mean now. He's assuming that the FBI is keeping the blackmail log. Jeffrey Epstein had blackmail logs on very powerful, very influential, very rich people. Because Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex ring with underage girls for the elite. This stuff is real, right? For just a second, this isn't the conspiracy theory show, but like I said, we've went through all of our rants. So we'll get real for a minute. Every one of my shows centers around real. So let's get real for a minute. Pizzagate? Let's talk about Pizzagate. That'll get me shut down. I'll probably it was nice seeing you guys. It was nice knowing you guys. I'll probably get shut down in the next 5 minutes, but Pizzagate was real. You know, maybe James Alefantis' pizza place, Comet Pizza, maybe that was a distraction, but there is sex trafficking. There are sex trafficking rings, and one was exposed with this arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's been known about forever. I knew for a long time that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. It was well known, and I knew that rich people were going to his island. And his plane is actually referred to as the Lolita Express. I knew all this. A stand-up comic from rural Missouri. I knew all this about Jeffrey Epstein. So this was pretty much public knowledge, and he got away with it for decades. Because he's protected by very, very, very rich and powerful people. And then Consortium News, also many YouTube videos hosting her. I wonder if she'd do a conspiracy theories and chill. I'm probably not big enough for somebody like that yet. But we're going to be doing more interviews, and that service costs as well. Be Live, I'm going to start streaming from Be Live because it opens up a lot more possibilities. But the downside to that is it's about $300 a year. So, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to move in that direction. So that's going to allow me to do more interviews and have people on. So speaking of, coming up on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, I keep plugging my baby. Conspiracy Theories and Chill is my favorite of my shows. That's my baby. And coming up, we're going to have some interviews. We got an interview coming up with a flat earther. That's going to be pretty fascinating. And then I got an interview I'm trying to lock down with a skeptic. I want to have a skeptic on to kind of debate me. Not really to debate me, but I want to show both sides. You know, I want to get into some of these bigger topics. I want to hit the moon and 9/11 and JFK with a skeptic. And someone that's going to sit there and call me on my BS. You know? And because I think that will be a good opportunity for both sides to sit down at an issue. The point of Conspiracy Theories and Chill is to get conspiracies out in front of people that wouldn't normally pay attention to that stuff, wouldn't normally go down rabbit holes. You know, it's for people that love conspiracies, and it's also a way to get people into conspiracies. So it has like a couple different purposes. But that's why I want to have a skeptic on, because that'll get people in the room from both sides, right? And that's how you break through. That's how you get through to people. You know, closing yourself off in an echo chamber does nothing. But if I can get a room full of people that both believe in the official story of 9/11 and don't believe in the official story of 9/11 to have a conversation, I think that'll be an awesome episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill. So I'm going to do my best to line that up and reach out to that person and try to get them to do it. So, because I think that would be really cool. But those are things that are coming up in the future. Another thing that happens every day that I do is the Daily Burn. Now that's a political show. That's for the revolution. Some people don't like that one because it's political, but it is the most important show that I do. And the reason for that is it makes me a better person. It makes me build myself up, because what it is, it's a motivational show for the political revolution. And I am not an optimistic person. So to do this show, to motivate people, I have to build myself up every day. And that is helping me grow. So the Daily Burn is personal to me for that reason, because one, I believe in the political revolution 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing a show every day about it. But two, it's helping me grow as a person, you know, and hopefully it's helping you. Hopefully you're drawing inspiration from it. Hopefully you like it. But check that out every day at 9 a.m. And the reason why I run it at 9 a.m. is so that it's up all day for people to see it. People have told me that's too early, that I shouldn't do a show that early, that everybody's at work at 9 a.m. I know that. I know you're at work. But you know that there's an episode of the Daily Burn that you can catch, a fresh episode every day that'll be there waiting for you on the page. If you're down or you're struggling or you're having trouble finding motivation, it's there for you. That's the benefit of going at 9 a.m. I know that a lot of people can't watch it at 9 a.m., but catch it during the day. I film it live, but I always film it with later on in mind. I always keep it fresh for the people later on, because another thing that I do with the Daily Burn is I do an afternoon watch party sometimes. And I know that I'm bugging the shit out of a lot of my Facebook friends with these watch parties, but with not being able to share, you know, it's breaking my heart watching the Daily Burn get 50 views a day. It was getting close to 400 views a day. Now it's down to 50. But I need to get over that. I need to let that go, because that show's valuable to me. And maybe it's valuable to you. You know, maybe there's somebody out there, even though it's a baby show, maybe there's somebody out there that really gets strength from it. And that was the point. So I do the Daily Burn, and then on Sundays, I do Yankey Show, which is like a talk show, like a morning show, like a radio show, morning radio show, except it's interactive. So I want to, when I get the new computer going, we're going to set up another service that costs money to take phone calls. I want to be able to take phone calls from you guys and involve the audience. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. So subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube, or follow me and click notifications if you're watching on Facebook. But let me see if you guys have said anything in the comments. Steve says, I'm thinking Whitney Webb is with Mint Press, but I could be wrong. She's in chill and does great through research. Right on. Lori says, I'm watching at work right now. Right on. Hey, Dion. Hey, Corey. If you're just joining me, it's showing me stuff a little late, but this is Yankey Rants, and right now we can talk about anything you want, any topic at all. I've went through my list of topics and went on and on about everything that I had planned to talk about. So let me know what's aggravating you, what you want to rant about, or anything at all you want to talk about. And we'll go for a little while longer. We've been going for about 45 minutes, but I feel good. I feel like we could keep going. I got to go get some pills here in a little bit. And when my wife gets off work and I can use her van, I got to go up and get some pills, fill my prescription. And that's aggravating me. And I wonder how much they're going to cost today. Like I said, every time I go fill them, they cost different. Sometimes they're $20 more than other times. Last time it was a pleasant surprise. I went into the pharmacy and I was pleasantly surprised. It was $20 less than I usually pay. Today it could be $50. You never know. It's a crapshoot. And that's unfortunate. But we're doing this as a way to test out the show and see if there's any interest in Yankey Rants coming back as a show, and then also to test out multi-streaming, because I'm trying to polish that off and get that down. So right now we're going out to 2 platforms, but let me know what some other good platforms are to stream to. Let me know what some other good social media sites are. I'm currently on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So, but let me know what else is out there. Maybe there's some that I don't know about. A lot of really informed people watch my stuff. So Steve says, Whitney may talk to me. I should reach out to her. I will. Yeah, because that would be cool. Steve says, oh, he's talking to Lori. But let me check on YouTube, see if there's been any comments over on YouTube before we wrap up. But this has been Yankey Rants. This is a show where we rant. Just hang out, talk, rant about stuff. Today we talked about car troubles and sexism. People thinking that just because you're a man, you should be able to fix a car. And we talked about pill costs and prescription drug prices and how we're fleeced in this country for prescription drugs. And we also talked about corporate censorship. So if you're catching us late, check that out and see what all went on in the show. But right now, let me know anything you want to talk about. Ginger shared Whitney Webb's information, so I will reach out to her. Steve says big pharmaceutical killing people with opioids. Opioid addiction is such a huge problem in this country. And, that's a big reason why they fight against marijuana legalization. Because if you look at statistics in places where marijuana has been legalized, opioid addiction rates fall dramatically. And it's funny, they'll push opioids on people and want to ban marijuana, keep marijuana illegal on the federal level, but they'll push opioids. Take this pill. That's the other thing I forgot to cover with pills. Side effects. Have you ever seen a pill commercial and been blown away by the list of side effects at the end? Or a better question is, have you ever seen a pill commercial and not been blown away by the side effects at the end? You know why they say that so fast and why they have the speed talker read it off? Because it's mind-blowing. These dangers that are in these pills. But they push those like candy. Take your meds, take your pills. Get this medicine. This medicine will fix this, but it's going to cause 17 other problems. But that's okay because we have a pill that takes care of 16 of those problems but causes 13 more. But that's all right because there's a pill that fixes those problems. And it goes on and on and on. But they'll fight things like marijuana. They don't want you treating yourself. No way can you grow your own medicine. Well, in places where marijuana is legal, opioid addiction drops dramatically. And this is the pharmaceutical company killing people with these opioids, and they're highly addictive, comparable to heroin. It's outrageous. But that's okay. It's okay for the drug industry to sell these dangerous products. Lori says side effects are often death, and Lori is a nurse. Lori works in the healthcare industry. Lori knows what she's talking about. Side effects do include death. You can easily die from opioid addiction, from overdoses from opioids. There are tons of examples of people dying from pharmaceutical overdoses. From prescription medication. Michael Jackson, for one, died from prescription medication. Elvis Presley was addicted to prescription medication. He didn't consider that drugs. He didn't feel like he was a drug addict because his drugs came from a doctor. Michael felt the same way. Michael Jackson felt the same way. He didn't think that it was drugs because it came from a doctor. Well, there's dangerous stuff that come from a doctor. Ginger said if you'd rather watch videos of Whitney Webb, she's all over YouTube, but her best videos have been hosted by CN Consortium News. I will check out Consortium News right after the show. I trust you, so I trust that they're a good source. I will check that out. Steve says, well, that happens rarely. I'm not sure what he was referring to. Elizabeth says, do you know what the PDR is? Positions Desk Reference. Doctors and nurses use it to look at med info. They are now taking out all of the side effects. What? My mom had one of those next to her chair. My mom dealt with the same kind of mental problems I think that I deal with. And she kept herself pretty well informed on the things she was taking. So she had a PDR next to her recliner. I remember it from my childhood. I would flip through it. It's a massive book, right? And it lists pills and information about pills and side effects and all of that. But they're taking the side effects out. You know, they're trying to erase the truth in real time. They really are. And it's corporatized. Censorship is a very real problem. It's just that corporations are doing it now. And people are looking the other way because they're like, well, Facebook's a private company. Twitter's a private company. They can control who uses their service. That's all well and good until you factor in the fact that they have a monopoly over this particular type of sharing. Like me, for instance. I'm trying to be an independent journalist, to do independent shows. I depend on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I depend on them. How else would I get content out? You know, these independent people, they have no other avenue. So when corporations are doing the censoring, then they're shutting down those voices. They're making it impossible to build up something like what I'm trying to do. Lori says she's a dialysis nurse. You're a hero. I don't care what kind of nurse. Dialysis is very important. I train people to do their own dialysis at home. Fantastic. You are a warrior. Lori is awesome. I'm glad you're here. I missed you. Lori, I ran Lori off by doing politics. Lori doesn't like politics. This is not political, though. Don't worry. We won't get political. Ginger says, I feel like I do. Oh, she's replying to Lori. I need to stop reading the replies. That confuses the hell out of me. But let me know what you want to talk about. We got a couple people here on YouTube and a couple people here on Facebook. We are live right now. So for YouTube, that's new. For YouTube, that's new to you guys. Usually when you watch me, I'm not live. But right now, we're live. This is going out live to YouTube. From now on, we will be multi-streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and I'm going to add some more platforms. On the service I'm paying for, I can go to 5 places. So I need 3 more places to go. Let me know where to go in the comments if you know. If you know anything about that kind of stuff. Or if you follow somebody popular, like there's a particular person I might reach out to. You may know him, Gerard Kinnett Hay. I'm going to reach out to him and find out where he recommends streaming to, because I look up to him. He's one of the people I've been following to learn from. And I've learned a lot from watching him. Now, I don't agree with him all the time. But like I said, echo chambers are no good. So I go to Gerard's feed every day a lot of times. And even though I don't agree with him, Lori, even though I don't agree with Gerard and I'm mad at him sometimes, I watch his feeds because I like him. I'm just giving you shit, Lori. I'm just giving you shit. I know it makes you mad. I know the political show makes you mad. But Lori says, I was a burner in 2016. A lot of former burners are jaded to politics. A lot of former Burners are really upset. You know, sadly, a lot of them are upset with Bernie. Now, I don't understand being mad at Bernie. If I promise not to talk about politics, will you tell me real quick why you're mad at Bernie? As a former Burner, I swear I won't berate you, and I won't let anybody else either. I really want to hear from you how you feel Bernie let you down. Just real quick, and I won't get political, but I'd love to hear it. I'm interested in that. Because I do a political show, a lot of people that are mad at Bernie, they reach out to me, and they ask me, what would you follow Bernie for? He sold us out in 2016. Well, I don't think he did. You may not agree with what he did. And we can get into that if you want. Like right now, we can talk about anything. But we can get into that. What you think he should have done versus what he did. And I can tell you what I think he should have done. But Lori says, I'm not mad at Bernie. It's a failed system. So you believe what Gerard believes. That supporting the system itself is bad. That's what, for the most part, from what I can understand, that's what Gerard believes. That voting is even consent, he believes. So, I don't know. I don't feel that way. I feel like not voting is what is consent. I feel that not voting gives consent to what's going on in the world, to the evil in the world. But that's my opinion, and Gerard has his opinion, and it takes all kinds. It's a melting pot. It takes all kinds to move us forward, and Gerard is moving us forward in his own way. I believe in the revolution, so I'm moving us forward in that way. As long as you're doing something, I'm with you. As long as you're fighting in some way against what's going on in the world, I'm with you. You know, I'm friends with Trump supporters even. You know, I don't close myself off in a box. If you're against evil, I'm with you. We don't have to agree politically. You don't even have to be political. So, Laura, you're absolutely fine. You know, I do give Gerard stuff sometimes, but he has a large audience. And I believe that what he's telling people is wrong. You know, and that we need to fight. But however you feel, I want you to feel comfortable at the show. So I'm not going to focus too much on you, Lori. I'm going to leave you alone. But, hi, Roger. Ginger says, if all voting was rigged, Trump would have lost. I think small towns is where it's at. Voting is rigged, but their system can be overwhelmed with our numbers. That's what happened. That's how Trump got elected. Their system got overwhelmed. You know, they're very used to being able to predict what's going to happen. They're very used to being able to use their media to point us in whatever direction they want us to go. They have us trained very well, actually. Now, that's why they sold you that garbage about Hillary going to beat him by a landslide. It's going to be a slaughter because they use that to try and build support for Hillary. Hillary was very unpopular. Hillary was one of the most unpopular political candidates in history. She was also one of the most well-known names in politics, but she was very unpopular, and she ran a very weak campaign. Even Bernie Sanders wasn't able to save her campaign, and he sacrificed his own support, a lot of his own support, by supporting her. So he did damage to himself doing 15, 20 events for her, trying to get her elected. And even Bernie Sanders couldn't get us to vote for her. You know, so the people mad at Bernie because he did endorse her and he did campaign for her, I think you need to realize Bernie supporters think for themselves. And Bernie knows that. And Bernie told us early on in 2016 that if he ever told us who to vote for, to not listen to him, to think for yourself. So, but let's see what, I got some people commenting on Facebook. Let me check out what they're saying. Ginger said, although my small town just got new vote counters, I hate that. Oh, those Diebold voting machines? The voting machines need to go. The voting machines are so easily manipulated. You know, they've done experiments where high school kids have hacked these voting machines in less than 10 minutes. They can be hacked with a USB card. There are videos, look them up. These voting machines are easily hackable. You know, and there's been congressional hearings. It's not like they don't know. They know. It's just they're not doing anything to stop it. because they want it rigged. It is a rigged system, but it can be beaten by overwhelming it with our numbers. Elizabeth says, many of us Bernies are worried about he never addressed the DNC cheating. He never said I'm sorry to his delegates when they got kicked out of the convention. He has never addressed the issue of election fraud. He has never addressed weather engineering, the major cause of climate disasters. He went with Assad, gassed his own people. He went with Russia, did it. All right, real quick, we won't get political, but I'm going to tackle that one by one. He never addressed the DNC cheating. He couldn't have. I really believe that would have been political suicide. You know, whether you feel like he did the right thing or not, I'm not asking you to agree with me, but it would have been political suicide for Bernie to address the cheating. But as you know, I believe that this is our responsibility, and that would be a fight that falls in our category, in our court. We should have addressed the cheating. The American people allowed an election to be rigged in this country. I don't care if you didn't participate in that primary. I don't care if you're Republican, Independent, whoever you are. The American people allowed an election to be rigged in this country. Now, if Bernie had gotten on a soapbox and started ranting and raving, I think within half a day, the mainstream media would paint him as crazy Bernie. They would have you thinking he's a sore loser, ranting lunatic by noon. So I think it would have been political suicide for Bernie. He never never said sorry to his delegates when they were kicked out of the convention. That one I'm not positive about. I'll have to come back to that. He has never addressed the state of election fraud. Again, political suicide. He has called for election reform. He's never outright said that the election was rigged. But that falls under personal preference, and that falls under something that I would never really hold him responsible for until I could ask him myself. But I feel like it would be political suicide because, again, the media would paint him as crazy by mid-afternoon. He never addressed weather engineering. And that would be something I think is ours. When I talk about this being our fight, there are things that Bernie can do as a politician, and there are things he can't. And this is going to tie in with 5 and 6. He went with Assad, gassed his own people, and he went with Russiagate. Bernie was the Democratic Outreach Chair. Now, Bernie is a politician. I'm an activist. That's very different. Those are two very different things. Bernie has to appeal to the average person. Bernie has to talk to the average voter. Bernie has to talk to the average person across all media platforms. And your average person is brainwashed to a level that is downright sad. And I'm sure that most of you know that. I'm sure even Lori knows that the average person is extremely brainwashed. So Bernie has to sell everything he's talking about to a very brainwashed audience. And that audience was being sold Assad, gassed his own people. Now, I don't agree with Bernie all the time. I disagree with that. I also disagree with Bernie pushing Russiagate. But what I was saying about him being Democratic Outreach Chair is I think that there were certain things that he had to do as Democratic Outreach Chair to keep that position. And that position allowed Bernie to run for president for free for 2 years as Democratic Outreach Chair, to go all around the country talking to people, to hold events, to be on TV every day. It allowed him a platform. So as a politician, I could understand him going along with certain things in order to keep that platform, because that platform is very important to what he wants to do moving forward. But Ginger says we need to be in the streets and in front of all the SO8 state offices by the millions demanding either blockchain or paper ballots. That's in our court. We need to fight back against election fraud. That's exactly right. And again, no matter how you feel about politics, no matter where you land, politics is in control of us. The government is in control of your life, whether you participate in it or not. So it's in your interest, in your best interest, for it to be a even and fair playing field. And it currently isn't. Now, there's a lot of ways we need to address that moving forward, and there's a lot of things that need to be done to fix that and correct it. But one of the main things is like what Ginger was saying, paper ballots. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with blockchain, but I'm pretty familiar with paper ballots. I did a video for somebody at their request on paper ballots, and I ended up learning a lot about the paper ballot system. The paper ballot system is used elsewhere in other countries very successfully. And the way it works is they'll have a person from each party. So let's say we were doing it. There'd be someone there from the Green Party, someone there from the Republican Party, someone there from the Democratic Party. And they all sit and count the votes, right? And then they verify each other in front of a group of judges, in front of people. And if the count comes out different, they do it all over again. So if the Republican guy gets a count and then the Green guy gets a different count, they redo the whole count. And they turn it over to the judges. Paper ballot works really well. Germany uses paper ballot. Elizabeth says, I don't bother voting anymore. We use the old Diebold voting machines in Texas. The last time I went to vote, I told the people there about them, and they said, oh no, we've been assured that they are the best. They did not have paper ballots. Diebold voting machines are so easy to rig, it's not even funny. Look it up on YouTube. Do a quick search. They just had a school in Florida. These tech kids at a school in Florida, high school, hacked a voting machine in less than 5 minutes. Amazing video. Check it out. Elizabeth says, I'm mad that we can't see all of the 127 comments here. Facebook, blah. No, their suppression is wild. It's out of hand. But I'm really happy with the comments and interaction on Facebook. You guys are killing it. I can barely keep up because I have 3 tabs open and my computer can barely handle it. But I'm trying to keep up with your comments. Ginger says you can when it's done or you rewatch it. She's replying to Elizabeth. Oh, see the comments? Okay. Hey, Dolores. Dolores was over on YouTube. She's come over to Facebook to the dark side. I'm mad at Facebook. I don't mean the dark side. I'm mad at Facebook right now. I was so mad the other night when Conspiracy Theories and Chill crashed, I was going to quit Facebook. I put out a post and I was like, give me your information. I'm leaving Facebook. I was so mad. I was furious. Because that show is catching on. And that's what they're doing to me is they're throttling me. And it's because they want money. They want me to boost my posts because I'm coming from a page. They don't ever ask me to boost personal stuff. So I'm doing this experiment right now to see if a video from my regular timeline does better than one from my page. And I may stop using the pages altogether. I don't know what to do. I'm swinging in the dark here. But this corporate censorship has me mad. Has me so mad. But Elizabeth shared information on paper ballots. Thank you for doing that. Ginger said, how close are you to getting a new computer? Being built right now. I gave the money to him on Monday. It's being put together right now, like a week away. I'm having it built. So it's going to be built to my specifications. And we were able to do it for $400. So the fundraiser for the computer raised $330. And I thought I was going to have to put about $3 with that. But luckily, I met somebody who builds computers, and we had a conversation, and one thing led to another, and I'm getting this thing built to my specs. So it's going to be a beast. It's going to be built for exactly what I want it for. So we're going to be able to do all this cool stuff moving forward. It's going to be really neat. And I'm also going to improve the lighting, get rid of some of these shadows. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about the dark circles around my eyes. Those are natural. I just have those. I have the same thing that Sylvester Stallone has. Before plastic surgery now, Rocky 1 is the Sylvester Stallone I'm talking about with the lazy eyes. Can you see that? The baggage under my eyes? Sylvester Stallone had that exact same thing. It's got a name. But he fixed his with plastic surgery. But I just always look tired. Doesn't matter how much rest I get or how much sleep I get. I always look tired. But we are real close to the new computer. I'm super excited about that. Anytime now. Lori says they don't mess with Gerard much, and he comes from his own page. I've noticed that, and that's what this experiment is about. Because, like I said, I was told a long time ago, come from a page. Don't stream from your own timeline. Never stream from your own timeline. I'm always just doing what people tell me. You know, I'm learning as I go. So I started streaming from pages. I joined a page. I took up with them. But we had a falling out, me and that page. And we had a long relationship, but I found out that we weren't on the same page. And I left their page and started my own pages. But now I'm getting throttled. I'm getting held back. We were building an audience, and all of a sudden, everything just dropped off. So I'm doing this experiment because I noticed Gerard uses his own timeline and does very well. He seems to do very well doing that. So Steve says Harsh used to be a burner too. I haven't seen Harsh in a long time, and that's a shame because I used to really like Harsh Med. He's talking about Harsh Med. And Dion says, awesome deal on the pewter. Looking forward to it. Me too, man. I'm so excited. It's going to be really cool and custom made. That's got me really pumped. So it's going to be exactly for what I need it for. And that's exciting. So really happy about that. And thank you guys for donating. There's a couple people here that did donate to the fundraiser. And I'm really happy to be able to announce that we pulled it off. We're getting a brand new computer. So things are going to start looking a lot cooler moving forward. But I'm going to do my plugs one more time, and we'll keep going. I don't have to do anything for a little while. I got to get up to the pharmacy before 6, but I got plenty of time. So we got a good group here. If you guys want to talk about anything, let me know. We've went on about a little bit of everything. This has been a pretty good show. I shouldn't have said that. That sounds really cocky, but Elizabeth says, you can't see where all of your stuff is going, but it is going everywhere now. Oh, I trust in that. Elizabeth is part of a group that invited me in, and they've been very good to me. They are sharing my stuff for me, and I don't know if you want me plugging the group or not. I'm not sure, but it's called PIN. I think I did anyway, even if you didn't want me to. But they just invited me into that group, and they have been fabulous to me. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate that because I've just been on my own and swinging in the dark. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. But I love doing this, and I decided while doing the Daily Burn that this is my gift, I listen to a lot of motivational stuff to do the Daily Burn, to pump myself up to do that show, and because like I said, I'm not an optimist. I deal with depression. I'm bipolar. I have a lot of problems. PTSD, on and on and on. I could rattle on and on and on, but I built myself up to do that show, and there was this video I was watching. Miles Monroe, he's a motivational speaker, and it was about finding your gift. And there was a clip in it from Steve Harvey about how you know when you found your gift. And your gift, he says, is whatever you do with the least amount of effort. Whatever you do with the least amount of effort, the first thing you're thinking about when you wake up in the morning. Well, for me, that was this. Doing shows. I have come to love this. So I want this to be my job moving forward. And I'm coming up with new shows to put out and content all the time. I'm really, really focusing on this now. So hopefully you guys are digging it. Hopefully you're into it. And hopefully you'll let me know what kind of shows you want to see. Because we're going to be bringing more. And like I said, we're going to get some other people too. I'm actually looking at a show where I co-host it with someone else. And we present both sides to issues at the same time. Me and this person tend to disagree on almost everything. So I think that would be interesting as a little show moving forward. Like what is that? The little guys on, I'm going blank now. The Muppet Show. The little guys that are always arguing back and forth on the Muppet Show. Be something like that, where you're looking at both sides of an angle, from two different perspectives, and we can cover anything. So that's an idea coming forward, and also bringing this show back as a regular show is an idea. That would put me at 4 shows though, so it's really hard to do that around my work schedule. But Elizabeth says the best thing you can do for depression is no GMOs and staying with us. I'm staying with you guys for sure. You guys have been great to me, but the no GMOs, I definitely need to do that. I need to get away from GMOs. This gluten allergy thing, I read that, we're not really allergic to gluten. We're allergic to the chemicals being sprayed on the wheat. And that makes a lot more sense to me than people all of a sudden developing all these bread allergies. It makes a lot more sense to me that it's the chemicals. Lori says, you're a good speaker. Thank you. No, but what I was saying is, I feel like I found my gift. And I'm going to do this professionally, no matter what. I'm giving myself a year to have these shows catch up and catch on and build an audience. But on top of that, I'm going to go to broadcasting school. I'm going to do a lot of things. I'm either going to end up in radio or doing these. So if you would like to help and like to help me grow, share it out. Get it out there. Helen's here. Helen was my very first supporter on Patreon. Very first supporter. And I had a little bit of a mental break and ended up not doing shows for a little while, and I let her down. And I felt horrible ever since. But, we're not going anywhere this time. You know, I have a friend of mine. I have a good crowd around me, a lot of people boosting me up, and we're not going anywhere this time. I'm going to see this through 100%. So we did a full relaunch on Patreon, a full relaunch. I took down all the old stuff and got it going up again now. So if you want to support us, please do. But like I said, sharing us supports us too. Getting it out there. Dion says you did find your gift. I believe I did. So whether I am doing this on the radio or wherever it ends up being, I'm going to be trying to talk for a living from now on. I want to live in my gift. And some of you know I do stand-up, and I've never broken through. You know, I've always been rural, and I love stand-up. And I'm good at it. I feel like I'm good at it. It's hard to break through in entertainment in any shape or form, but I feel like I'm better at this than I am even stand-up. You know, I feel like this is my calling. So I'm going to do all I can to live in that, to live in my gift, because I want to do that. I want to be happy. You know, I want to do something that makes me happy. So I'm going to learn how to talk for a living. And that's my goal moving forward. So that's what all this is about. Helen says, you're all good, Sean. I know you don't resent me for it, but I do. Trust me, I'm hard on myself about it. I had a mental breakdown. I haven't been able to talk about this since it happened. But these up here, those aren't real. That took a lot of money to get. That smile, that was expensive. Well, I was doing a live stream and a tooth fell out live on the air. And it broke my heart, a front tooth. And I kept pushing forward and I pushed through it and I made it a couple more months. But when they pulled out all of my top teeth and I looked at myself doing a stream, I had a breakdown. I had a mental snap. I was trying to push through because I felt like the most important thing was the content. It didn't matter that I was toothless. You know, I felt like I was still providing valuable content. But all of a sudden one day, I just broke down into tears in the middle of a stream. And I got through it. If you were watching that stream, you wouldn't have even noticed it. But afterwards, I was a mess for months. For months. I went into a deep depression, and that's what happened, Helen. And I've always felt bad about it. Ever since then, I've felt bad about it. It has crushed me. But now I feel better. I'm glad to have gotten that off my chest. I'm glad to have gotten that opportunity. You know, I apologized to Helen before through text, but it feels better doing it while she's here in front of everybody and just acknowledging that I did have that. Because there's a person I follow on Facebook, and I wish they'd come to my shows. They never do. But they deal with depression, same as me. But they talk about it. And I think that's one of the bravest things I've ever seen anybody do. They're open about their depression online. And I've told them on multiple occasions, man, you're a rock star. You're a warrior, because I can't do that. When I get depressed, I shut down. But this person reaches out on Facebook, and that helps people. Just like what I just talked about might help someone. You know? I'm okay with it now. It took me a long time to be okay with it, but I'm okay with it now. And I'm moving forward again. I'm getting back on the horse. That's what you do. When life knocks you down, you get back up and you keep moving forward. So we're starting over. I relaunched Patreon. I relaunched all my shows. And I'm giving myself a second chance. Helen says, Chase, you're happy. I'm going to. Elizabeth says, you bet it is the chemicals. Not just what is sprayed on, hold on, it's glitching on me, on them, but what is engineered into the seeds. Let me know if you want any more info about GMOs. Let me know. I haven't eaten them in 5 years. Absolutely. Anything you want to send me on Messenger on GMOs, do that. Because I am always looking for topics. You know, now that I'm doing these professionally, I need a new conspiracy to cover every week. You know, this coming up week, I'm writing the script for the MK Ultra video. We're going to do MK Ultra Wednesday night. But after that, I don't have anything. So I'm going to look at GMOs. I'm going to look at all the things we talked about in tonight's video moving forward for topics. Because I've come across a few good topics in tonight's video for Conspiracy Theories and Chill. And Helen says, I like Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Conspiracy Theories and Chill is one of my favorite shows that I do. I love talking about conspiracies, And I wanted it to be easily accessible to everyone. One that you could get into and watch even if you don't fully believe in conspiracies. Because I tend to not talk about anything on that show that I can't verify, you know. But that's going to go out the window soon because we're going to cover Bigfoot. There's a fan that wants Bigfoot. So I'll cover anything on conspiracy theories and chill. I'll make a video about anything. I don't have to agree with it. Ginger says Joan Hunter talks openly about depression. I appreciate her. She is one. That's not who I was thinking of, but you're right. She unfollowed me, unfriended me a while back. I upset her. I don't remember how, but I used to be a friend of Joan's on Facebook, and she does talk about her depression. And that is brave. That takes courage, and that helps people. Seeing that they're not alone, that helps people. It really does. Steve says depression is an epidemic. I get it too. Depression is an epidemic, and it's invisible. You know, I deal with depression. There was a meme that I saw last night, and it actually made me cry because it was so on the head. It hit the nail on the head so well. But look at it on my timeline. I shared it last night. But it talks about what depression is like. It explains depression to someone that doesn't have it. And that's one of the hardest things to do with depression is explain how you feel to someone else, even to a doctor. You know, I see a therapist, but it's hard to even be honest with my therapist. You know, it's hard to talk about depression, and it's hard to describe it. It's hard to describe what's going on in your head, but it is like your brain is working against you. And in this meme I was talking about, it was talking about how at its worst level, you feel like you're drowning. You know, the best you ever get is the green level, where you feel like you're floating on water. You're still dealing with depression. It's still there, but you're on top of it. You feel like you're floating on it. Then there's yellow, where it's a little more severe, and you're feeling uncomfortable. Something that happens to me is I'll feel a tightness in my throat. But there's all kinds of different symptoms and different things that happen to different people. You know, that's just what it's like for me. But I'll feel it coming on. That would be the yellow phase. And then red is just you're drowning. You feel completely overwhelmed and nothing makes sense to you. So you're not thinking logically anymore. People wonder how people commit suicide. Well, you're not in the right frame of mind. You're not thinking logically. As a depressed person, I can tell you that you're feeling like you have no value. You're feeling like everyone would be better off without you. That the world would be better off without you. That your loved ones would be better off without you. You're not being selfish. People think that depressed people or people that kill themselves are being selfish. As someone that deals with that mindset, I can tell you, it is a living hell. It can be. It can be. Now, I've found ways to deal with it, to cope with it, but it's something I deal with every day. It never goes away, and it's invisible. But it's real. It's very real. And people are ashamed to get treated for it, you know, and they're ashamed of themselves that they feel that way, you know, and they don't understand what's wrong with them even because it's not something that we talk about in our society openly. You know, and that's sad. I'm saying you know a lot. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on different things like that, and that'll be something that broadcasting school will help with. You know, saying all the time. Is like my favorite word. When I watch back live streams, I'm like, man, if I had a nickel for every time I say the word I'm trying to get better about that. Jay actually pointed that out to me. Jay Rohn, I don't know if you're still here, but pointed that out to me. Sergeant Jay busted my chops about saying But Jay's absolutely right. I say so much. It's my favorite word. Elizabeth says, and how can we not be depressed when we find out our government is screwing us in every way? Not just that, but we live in the age of deceit. Everything around you is a lie. You're misinformed and misdirected at every angle, from every angle. And the media, this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of. The media is negative because people like negativity. They have done research and proven that people like and respond better to negative information. So TV's all about ratings. If people want negative, that's what they're going to give them. They'll give them wall-to-wall negative. And that's what they are giving them. But it's scientific and it's real. The news is negative, wall-to-wall negativity, because that boosts ratings. Lori says, I struggle with lifelong depression. Me too. Something I've always dealt with, something I'll probably always deal with. Luckily, I have it pretty well under control now. I've gotten a good balance on my medication, and I've found a good way to deal with it, but I have bad days. I have really bad days. My wife could tell you. And it's not fun dealing with it. It's not fun dealing with someone with depression. It's really not. And it's also not fun being that person. To be someone with depression is no fun. It's not any fun feeling that way. And it's not any fun feeling like a burden on everybody around you. You know, one of the things I like about Winnie the Pooh is Eeyore is depressed as hell, but they include him in everything. And they never ask him to cheer up, and they never ask him to change. You know, I think that's a really good message. They just include Eeyore the way he is. Lori says cannabis helps. Cannabis is a miracle plant from God. I fully believe that. But even if you don't believe in God, I won't get preachy on this show. Scientifically, cannabis has thousands of uses, and its cousin hemp has more than that. It's one of the most beneficial plants on this planet, and the fact that it's illegal is a crime against humanity. It really is. It is a literal crime against humanity that it is illegal. Cannabis is a miracle. But Steve says, you know what really helps me? Going to a Bernie or Tulsi rally. Oh, I've never been. I would love to go. I'm going. The very next time Bernie comes near me, I'm going. He was in Colorado recently, and I almost went to that one. I was like, I'm going to get in the car and drive to Colorado. 14 hours away. I don't care. I want to go to a Bernie rally. Lori says, I put on a happy face. No one knows I am depressed until I tell them. We all wear masks. All of us. We all wear masks to some degree. No one is completely honest with you, especially on social media. Don't ever judge your success off of other people's social media presence. No one tells the truth on social media. They don't share their negative sides. They share their good times. You know, the good things that happen to them, the positives in their life. It's very rare you see somebody brave enough to share the hard times. You know. That's pretty rare. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I'm going to check back over on Facebook. YouTube kind of died off. Long streams must not do well on YouTube. We're at an hour and a half now. And I haven't had any viewers on YouTube for like 15 minutes. But let me focus on Facebook where all the people's at. Ginger said, I get the blues sometimes, but related to circumstances, so mine goes away. Oh, everyone gets the blues. But depression is something very different than the blues. And there's all kinds of different kinds of depression. Mental illness is real. And it's got a stigma about it. People don't want to even admit that they have mental problems. They don't want to be considered crazy. Luckily, it doesn't have as much of a stigma around it as it used to. Like, there was a point where people wouldn't seek treatment. They didn't want to be associated with any kind of mental problems. Because people think you're crazy. And that still exists, but not to the levels that it used to. So that's good. But I think that we are going to wrap up soon. I got to get going to the pharmacy and pick up my pills. This went really good, and I think I learned something from this experiment. I think I learned that my timeline is friendlier. It's friendlier to the group of people that's here. I'm noticing a lot wider range of people, and I also have noticed that the 3 o'clock time seems to be a really good time to do a live stream. I looked up online what the best time to do a live stream is, and 3 o'clock, 3 to 5 is what they say. The very best time to do a live stream is 3 to 5. Now, I don't get to pick my times, usually. I got to do this around my work schedule, but it's good to know. It's good to know that 3 o'clock is a good time frame, because I'm learning as I go. I'm putting this together as I go. Steve says, I wouldn't try the doctor for drugs for depression. I've heard a lot of bad stuff from people. You know, I had a friend. Hey, Kathy. I had a friend who got put on a lot of medication for mental problems, and it scared me because me and this friend, we had a lot in common. I thought we had a lot of the same mental problems. We would look out for each other. And he had a breakdown. And in this particular breakdown, it was pretty scary. I was there for it. and his wife got me to talk him into going to the hospital. Well, we got him to go to the hospital, and they put him on treatment. But you wouldn't have recognized him anymore. He was a different person. They ruined him. They overdrugged him. Now, he's a lot better. He's doing a lot better now, and they've got his medication under control. But at first, he was a walking zombie. Now, they did that same thing with my wife's children. My wife's children are special needs, and they had them on so many medications when they were little that they were like zombies. And she took them off of them. So I understand you not trusting the doctor for depression drugs. Plus, they're filled with side effects. You know, they legalized recreational medical cannabis in my state. And like I said, I'm on 3 different prescriptions. Well, come the first of the year, I want to come off those pills, and I want to just use cannabis. But my wife seems to think that the pills help me. My wife seems to think I need the pills and cannabis. I think cannabis can replace my pills entirely. But Dion says, thank you, Sean. Oh, you're welcome, man. I love doing this. You know, this is what I want to do now, and this is what I want to do for a living. Ginger says, I work midnight, so this time is great for me. Awesome to know. Steve says, I live in a beautiful neighborhood, but it's full of homeless people. It gets me down. I'm half an empath. I'm an empath. Being an empath is very hard. Because if you don't know, when you're an empath, you can feel emotion and feel pain. And you're affected by it to your core. You can't ignore it. You can't look the other way. So, and that's what people do a lot with homelessness, is they look the other way. You know, with evil in general, they look the other way. So, but as an empath, that's hard to do. Because you feel the pain. You feel the pain coming from off these people and coming from the world. And it's overwhelming. It really is. Being an empath is tough. That's really weird that no one's been on here on YouTube for 20 minutes. I don't think that's accurate. I don't think it's showing me accurate analytics from YouTube. Well, we just had, maybe it is accurate. I just had one person come in and one person leave. I hadn't seen the ticker move in 15 minutes. But that's another part of this experiment, to see how a stream does on YouTube. I already know Facebook likes long-winded streams. Like Gerard, for example, does about 2 hours a day, and Tim Black does about 2 hours usually. And those are the people I've been watching, but to learn from. Hold on, Helen said something. Where'd that go? Helen says, I've tried so many different meds for over 3 decades. Tons of shitty side effects and more pills and still depressed. Fuck it. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like I said, I'm on a good balance now. Like these 3 meds seem to be balancing me out. But I also smoke cannabis. So how much is the cannabis and how much is the pills? You know, who knows? Like I said, my wife has more faith in the pills than I do. But I better get off my butt and run and pick them up, or she's going to be mad at me, because that's something she wanted me to do today, is get my pills. I've actually been off my meds for 3 or 4 days now because I didn't have money to fill them. You know, being broke is hard. Steve says, seriously though, psychedelics can help, but it's not for everybody. Joe Rogan talks about that a lot. DMT, and Mike Tyson was on. Mike Tyson, for those of you that don't know, has a violence problem. You probably do know that. He was very famous for beating people up for a long time, but he also had a violence problem in his personal life. To the point where now he says he's afraid to even work out because working out makes him violent. But Mike Tyson swears by cannabis and DMT. Says that has mellowed him out a lot. Said that DMT opened up his mind and helped him to realize a lot of the things that were making him so violent and allowed him to think better. And Joe Rogan swears by it too, as well as sensory deprivation tanks. Joe Rogan swears by those. But these are all things that are out of my reach. I don't know anybody to buy DMT from. The worst psychedelic I've ever done, I shouldn't say the worst, because I actually had a really good experience with it. You know, Bill Hicks had a bit about that. How they never talk about good experiences with drugs, you know. You know, they should do an episode of the news where they talk about good experiences with drugs. Like today, on this is Bill Hicks's bit. I'm gonna ruin it. But today on the news, Nick took a hit of acid a day and realized that life is all about love, and that this is unreal, and that reality is an illusion. back to you with sports. You know, I have a lot of positive experiences with cannabis, which I don't consider a drug, but I did LSD one time, and apparently that's enough to make you clinically insane. But I had a very positive experience. No one ever talks about positive experiences with drugs, but I never did it again because when LSD wears off, everything hurts. Your whole body hurts. All your joints hurt. Or at least that's the experience I had. So I didn't have the desire to ever do it again. But it was a positive experience. I've heard you can have very negative experiences as well. And I've heard that with DMT as well as sensory deprivation. I've heard that can get very scary. Because what that is you close yourself off in a tank filled with water. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You're completely closed off from everything, and it allows your mind to run wild. To me, that's a scary concept. I'm kind of afraid of what my mind can do with a untethered platform. I don't want to find out. But Helen says cannabis isn't covered by insurance, which is really shitty. Yes, it is. Because even though, okay, it's legal medical, first of the year here, it's still $200 for your medical card. $200. And you got to get that every year. You got to renew that every year. And then there is no insurance for it. So even though it's going to be my medicine, and to me it is medicine, there is no insurance. The insurance doesn't cover it. They are moving towards doing something about that, though. The Marijuana Legalization Act or movement has come a long way. A really long way, if you think about it. We're almost at the tipping point of federal legalization. So, and they are, a lot of these places like Nevada where marijuana's been legalized, they are making it to where employers can't test you for it. And that's happening in Nevada, I believe. And then they're also making it to where they're trying to make it to where insurance would cover cannabis. I know that is something that they're doing in the medical cannabis movement, is trying to get it recognized as medicine. Because it is medicine. Ginger says mescaline is so much better than LSD. I've never done mescaline. Heard of it. Mescaline would make everyone happy. Highly recommended by Ginger. I've heard of mescaline, but I've never done it. I don't even know anything about it. Dion says he has to go. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Dion. Thanks for watching. Steve says YouTube takes a while to grow an audience, but once you get it going, it snowballs. I'm looking forward to that. On YouTube, when you get to 1,000 subscribers, it opens up a lot of doors for you. So I'm at 880. So I'm not that far away. That was our first goal with YouTube, was to get to 1,000 subscribers, and it's only taken me about 2 years to get us close. We're almost there. So, but we've been at 870 for like 3 months. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, and now we're at our highest. 880 is our highest. The goal is 1,000 though. So if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, and then you'll be able to follow our content and our shows. We'll be doing a lot more shows moving forward. But Steve says, I don't have DMT or acid connections. If someone does, DM me. I grew some mushrooms recently, easy and affordable. You grew them? Now how? I'm very curious. Please don't tell me on Facebook. I don't want us to have our doors kicked in, but I would love to know how you grew your own shrooms. I thought you had to find them in a field in cow manure. I thought that's how people got shrooms. I didn't know you could grow your own. That's very interesting. Did you have to get cow manure? Does it have to be cow manure? Don't tell me. Don't tell me on Facebook. The more I think about it, please don't. Because we'll get our doors kicked in at the same time, and I don't need that. Steve says mescaline is the peyote cactus. Oh, really? That's what mescaline is? Oh, then I've seen... Have you ever seen the Doors movie? Is that what a mescaline trip is like? Ginger says, haven't used any drugs in years and years, but shrooms are great. I had the same problem with shrooms, though. My joints hurt afterwards. I've done shrooms once. I've done LSD once. I've done cocaine once. And the only drug, like I said, I don't consider it a drug, but the only drug that I've stayed with is cannabis. I was not impressed with cocaine. Cocaine seems to be an extreme waste of money. You know, I'm pretty sure, being a poor person, that I didn't do the best cocaine, but I'm not ever going to do it again. It's not something I ever want to do again. To me, you can drink 3 5-hour energies and get the same thing as a Coke fueled rush, and an 8 ball of Coke is like $100. So 3 5 hours is going to be a lot better bet financially. But let's see. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up and I drive to the pharmacy to get fleeced? I wonder if it's going to be more or less. If anybody's interested, I'll tell you later on Facebook whether or not it was more or less. I always am surprised by my bill at the pharmacy. But medicine is overpriced in this country. Ginger says she wasn't impressed with cocaine either. Did nothing. Didn't put any fire under me. To me, that's a drug for people that have way too much money and don't want it. They just want to get rid of it en masse as fast as possible, so they snort it up their nose. And that's all really cocaine is money in powdered form. But for me, it's cannabis. Cannabis all the way. That's all I need and all I've ever needed. And I love cannabis. I'm a very, very big promoter of cannabis and cannot wait to see it become legal. Dale says fleas. I don't know what he's referencing. Mescaline is way more calm than LSD. Okay, well, I had a really good experience with LSD. So the only thing that happened to me on LSD that was negative was my friend wanted to show me laser lights in a dark room. So we went in my bedroom. We were at my apartment. It was me and about 8 friends. We went in my bedroom and shut off all the lights and closed the door, and he was showing me lasers on acid. And then we got afraid that we couldn't leave the bedroom. For like 45 minutes, we were convinced that we couldn't leave the bedroom. Luckily, my son at the time had a little robot toy, and I walked the robot toy out of the room to break the ice, and we were able to leave the room. But we were trapped in that room for like 45 minutes. We were very sure that we couldn't leave. And that was the worst it got on acid. But I've had people tell me that stop signs attack them. I've had people tell me that recliners have grabbed them and not let go. All kinds of things. It opens up your mind. You know, a lot of these drugs open up gateways in your mind that you never knew existed. You know, this stuff is there all the time. It allows you to see different layers in reality, different layers of our existence. That's what these drugs do. They open your mind. Helen says, cocaine put a taste in my mouth like chewing the metal end of a pencil. Yep. It's an unpleasant experience. It does nothing for you. It's not rewarding. I really don't understand the appeal. Like I said, the only thing it can be for is showing off that I have enough money to just blow it up my nose. That's all it can really be for. You know, it doesn't have any other values or any other bonuses to it. It's just got to be, look how much money I can snort up my nose in a short period of time. That's all it is. Steve says even worse. Oh, replying to Steve. He was replying to something. Dale says, oh, fleeced. Pardon me. Fleeced. Oh, on my pills? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They always gouge you on those pills, and they never cost the same. Every time I go there, they cost different. Ginger says, that's what I don't like about LSD. Mescaline doesn't do that. It opens your mind, too, but it's never anxious. Oh, really? Wow. That's fascinating. I don't know how I would get my hands on any of that. Like I said, I'm still excited that marijuana is legal in my state. As of January 1st, I'm going to be able to walk into a store and not some shady guy's living room to get my cannabis. And I prefer to call it cannabis. A lot of people don't realize that marijuana is actually a slang term for it. It was called cannabis before it was called marijuana, and it was in cough medicine. You know, it was widely used and widely known about, and they started calling it marijuana to slander it, to equate it with Mexicans. There was at the time there was a problem with Mexican immigration. People were worried about Mexican immigration, and they did a whole fear propaganda campaign where they referred to this marijuana that the Mexicans were supposedly bringing in from Mexico, even though it had been here all along, and Thomas Jefferson grew fields of it. The Mexicans were bringing it in. It was marijuana, and it was going to make the white women have sex with minorities. So we all had to be very afraid of marijuana, and it worked. They were able to get it legal, made illegal, bring about the prohibition of marijuana. But Dale says just keep things natural, process stuff. Hold on, why did that comment go away? I don't know what happened to your comment, Dale. Maybe Dale deleted it. No, there it is. For some reason, my feed is very glitchy. I hope yours isn't. But mine, my computer's struggling so bad right now. Lori says never did cocaine. Don't. It's a waste of money. Steve says apparently everyone who does DMT sees the same gnome-like entities. Joe Rogan talks about that. And when he had Mike Tyson said the same thing. He agreed that he saw the same thing. That is fascinating. Lori said LSD and shrooms barely affect me. I did ecstasy back in the day a few times. I loved it, but it's not good for you. Now, ecstasy is the one that has heroin in it, isn't it? Helen says that's why there's cannabinoids and not marijuanoids. Yeah, exactly. Your body has cannabinoid receptors. Your body was made to receive cannabis. It's natural and made for us. I believe placed here by God for our use, but whatever you believe, it's scientifically proven that it has multiple values and is very useful. And definitely it has been proven that it's not dangerous and shouldn't be illegal, especially not classified right next to heroin on the drug chart. That's ridiculous. Ecstasy is known as the date rape drug? I thought that was roofies. Is ecstasy also roofies? Is roofies a slang term for ecstasy? Dale says all my feeds have been glitchy lately. This one is nice and smooth. Right on. Cool, I'm glad to hear it, because on my end it's all glitchy. But it looks like we got somebody sticking with me on YouTube, been here for a little while. Go ahead and comment anything you want. We're wrapping up. So we're at the comment section of the show. I'm just talking to you guys. But let's see. I think I'm caught up in the comments. I wanted to get through you guys' comments and talk to you about what you were talking about. But thanks for hanging out. This has been Yankey Rants. This is a show I'm teasing with bringing back. We used to do this show regular. This, as Helen knows from Helen's time with me, we used to do this one all the time. This was a weekly show, and I'm thinking about bringing it back. I'm flirting with it as bringing it into the rotation. But that would put me at 4 shows, and I don't know if I can handle 4 right now with a job. So let me know if you're interested in seeing the Yankey Rants stay around and if you like it. But thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for watching this stream. This has been a test to see if the multi-streaming is working right. This is my second feed, streaming to YouTube and Facebook, and to see if streaming from my timeline works better than streaming from a page. So thank you for allowing me to do that and hanging out with me while we ran that little test. And let me know if you'd like to see this come back as a regular show. But I will see you guys next time on the next feed, which may happen again later tonight, because I'm going to try to integrate 3 more sites that I'm streaming to. And I always practice by doing. So we may do another show tonight. I don't know what it'll be or if we'll even do it. But if I come up with 3 more sites to stream to, I might do that. Maybe around 7 or 9. But thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next time.